Watch Dr. Drew's new show at 9 on HLN. Weeknights on HLN.
I did choose I had my poor choices to have children. I mean, 2 was enough. Seriously, in retrospect.
2 would have been plenty.
Sure, 2 would have been plenty. But what was in my immature juvenile mind at that time? I wanted to. Maybe that was a huge form of escapism. Being a professional student, I know that. That's a form of escapism. I'm rationalizing that, of course, the truth. I want to I wanted to be a psychiatrist. I was pre-med. I wanted to do residency in psych, and simultaneously get my psych tech degree. And so at school, and I worked 80 hours a week, and then I would take 18 units in school. I set extraordinarily high standards for myself, maybe unrealistic standards for myself. But if I didn't meet them and get a 4.0 and be the best of the best of the best intrinsically and in my environment, I'd feel like a failure. Why? What am I running away from?
Well, you wanted to be perfect.
Right.
And perfectionism is a compensation for not feeling so great on the inside.
Of course, you're right. Because
probably you didn't get nervous. I'm having a reaction. I want to hold your hand.
No, see, that's another thing. I shy away. I get away.
I want to calm you down.
I don't want people to feel empathy, and I don't want. I feel guilty when people say they feel pity.
I don't feel pity.
I don't want that.
I just want you to calm down. I feel like I need to.
I'm a walking ball of anxiety. I know. My mom.
Well, I would be too with 2 kids or 3 kids or 4 kids.
Right.
With 14 kids, I'd want to jump out the window.
What's the paradox? In that I feel the safest at home with my kids. And I want to only be there. That's my favorite time at night in my pajamas, playing Twister with my kids.
Deep breath, deep cleansing breath.
Then outside. Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, being calm, it gives me more anxiety.
Probably it's uncomfortable for you, but you're moving all the time.
My brain and body racing constantly.
If you're being a psych tech right now, well, let's be colleagues.
Okay.
We're working at the same hospital, and Nadia Suleiman comes into the hospital,
right?
And you got to do the paperwork and put on her axes diagnoses. Okay. What's axis 1? Axis
1, maybe obsessive compulsive.
OCD, and maybe some generalized anxiety.
Oh, anxiety
with panic.
With definitely panic.
Is there mood disturbance too? Did you have any mood problems?
The one thing is I keep myself up. I keep my mood pretty stable.
Is there cyclothymia or bipolar?
No.
You seem a little manicky, and I'd be manicky too. It's anxiety.
That's anxiety, I think. Yeah,
just dealing with all those kids.
It's pretty stable. I'm usually always up, and I have adopted my dad's dry, sardonic sense of humor to cope.
I get it. Well, actually, I see it right now. It's because that's actually in fact, I'm going to show some footage a little bit later of something that your cred went up 1,000% for me when we did Silent Library. It was very, That was very funny.
I didn't see it.
It's very, very good. You did a great job.
I didn't see it. Thank you.
Now let's go to axis 2.
Right.
Which is the personality functioning.
Okay.
Is there anything going on there?
I think the more aware we are, I think. For me personally,
we're psych techs. We're doing the evaluation.
I'm
not a
Suleiman who
just
parents?
walked in. Let's give her a diagnosis. Are there traits?
I think that all human beings have traits. The more aware,
so what's
the awareness.
What's
I don't think I would diagnose myself because of the
awareness. Are there narcissistic traits?
I think all humans have it, and I think the more aware we are, the better able we are to control them.
And you were saying that when you were young,
trying to avoid it. I was raised by a narcissist and a borderline.
Oh.
In my head.
That's okay. So let's talk about that. So that leaves some residual on you. Having people with. So let me explain to my listeners what we're talking about, my viewers. Which is what we just talked about. Nadia's worked in psychiatric hospitals and she's well trained.
And day treatment clinics and crisis intervention.
Okay, and so she understands that when people come in, mental health professionals has a way of looking at their symptoms.
Right.
And in her case, she was saying that the top line, the axis 1, were things like mood disturbances, anxiety disorders, that mostly she's obsessive compulsive and has a little anxiety, a lot of anxiety, a lot of anxiety. And then axis 2, what she's saying is that her parents had some issues from being. From being, well, no, it's reasonable. I'm not going to say that would hurt anybody. That dad had some unresolved stuff that you ended up being caretaker of, and it worked for you. And mom, God knows, was in a horrible traumatic situation, having been in concentration camps effectively, and have her family ripped apart and dead, and that left some functioning on her personality that then rained down on you. And your solution. Humor and anxiety, obsessive compulsiveness, exercise, and lots of kids.